Good morning to another episode of a Migrant's Journey. It's a Tuesday. It's a cloudy day out there, and I actually woke up late, and that's why probably I'm not looking great today. I just saw myself on the screen. But welcome and thanks for. I think almost 6 people are already watching us live on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. Thanks for waking up in the morning. So this is, if you haven't watched this episodes in the past already, this is a migrant's journey where I document different migrant stories. We have had 12 episodes so far. This is the 13th one. Have had absolutely amazing response from all of you. So thank you all for your support. And I have more guests lined up for this week and next week. So it's not ending anytime soon. That being said, if you haven't watched my previous episodes, please subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can binge on them. There's a playlist, and all you have to do is go to episode one and play, and it will keep playing. That's what you can do. Or if you're watching live on LinkedIn or YouTube, or even watching the replay, please leave a comment so that I know you're watching. And in the end, I feel happy that someone is getting something out of it. So please leave a comment. If you're watching live, good morning. So in today's episode, I have Sonal with us. I haven't actually met or talked to Sonal in the past ever, so this is a different experience. It's a new story for me. I also am excited to hear what the story is. So let's go straight into it. Good morning, Sonal. How are you today?
Good morning, Vinesh. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm good. So far, so good. Not a morning person, but yeah, it's a different day today, so I'm
Well,
happy
I,
about
I
that.
think you look better than me, so you're definitely good. So let's get straight into the things.
Yeah.
Who are you, Sonal? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm Sonal Bhatia and originally from India. I'm working as an information security analyst at Robert Bosch now,
Hmm.
and I've been working in this profile for about 2 years.
Hmm.
But because of my studies and my education have all revolved around IT and specifically network security and network management, so I decided to be in the security field, and I've been here for I think about 5 years in the security field. I've been in the security field for 5 years.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it has been a great experience. Every curve, every move has been a learning journey,
Hmm.
and I don't think I would have had it any other way. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's what I like. Yes, the journey is hard when you go through it, but once
Yeah.
you are on the other end, I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I struggled for 8 months, but that's the reason I do this today. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have done this.
Absolutely.
No one would know who Vinesh Balan is. So the journey that you
True.
go through is absolutely gold. So cherish it while you're having it. I mean, it
Hmm.
has some purpose in the
Absolutely.
future. So let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
I think you migrated for your studies over here, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So uh, I'm not sure if international students do much of a preparation before arriving here, but if you have done any, what sort of
Mhm.
preparations did you do before you arrived here? This was 5 years
Yeah.
ago. So,
Yes.
what was that like?
Honestly, for me, it was completely different. I never did any preparation
Yeah.
before coming here because I had always been fixated on migrating to the US,
Mm,
and Australia was never on my mind. But for some reason, US never worked out, and
mm,
someone recommended, why don't you try Australia? Because the course that you want to study is also. Australia has great universities, just go for it. And I thought to myself, yeah, why didn't I think of that? And then I spoke to my parents about it. And I think from the day that I had that conversation with them, that, I am not worrying about the US anymore and I want to migrate to Australia. From that day until 2 months in, I was in Melbourne.
no. Okay.
It was a very 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 quick journey. Everything just happened in a jiffy, and before I knew it, I was here. So
Mm,
it was unreal for me because I wasn't prepared. I didn't
yeah.
know anything about anyone, and on top of that, I did not know anyone over here.
Mm,
So it started with networking for me from day one because I was in an unknown country with unknown people around me. And it started with the people that I was living with,
Mm.
all uni students again,
Yeah.
but they had been here for, I think, a couple of semesters, so almost a year or so.
Okay.
And that's where I started from, because I came here, and I was just lost. So my flatmates at that time, they helped me understand a little bit of Australian culture, especially the Australian weather. It was so cold because I came in the month of August,
Oh, okay.
um, and I mean, for me, I come from Mumbai, so Mumbai is not really that cold as
Yeah.
much as Melbourne. So I'd
Yeah.
never been exposed to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit difficult. That was interesting.
Mm.
However, I think 2 3 weeks into Melbourne, my friend dragged me and she said, "Let's go and let's submit our resumes for casual job,"
Mm.
which I wasn't ready for. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I knew I wanted to work. I was looking for it, but I got into it because of my friend.
Mm.
So she dragged my hand. We went to the Chatston shopping center,
Mhm.
and we ended up giving resumes to probably 30 to 35 stores.
Mm.
And to my surprise, none of them got back to us except for one.
Okay.
And I think my entire journey of understanding Australian culture and Australian work life started from there,
Mhm.
because the store that called, it was a proper, a proper filled with Australian people, like a
Mhm.
pure Australian store.
Mhm.
Um, and when I started working there, I realized what Australian culture is, what Australians, how do they communicate, what is their way of what is their way of cracking jokes.
Mhm.
But it also got me thinking, how do I make connections with my with people who are in the corporate world, because that was a purely retail job.
Yeah.
And that's where I started talking with the customers that came to my store.
Mhm.
So what I did was, because the customers usually spend about 5 to 10 minutes on the store selecting the products, and then it was us who used to serve them. So we had like a one-on-one service for every customer.
Mm.
So when they started coming in, I sort of took that opportunity, and just started having a casual conversation with them. Hi, what do you do? And especially because a lot of them used to come after work, so it was easier to ask them, how was your day, and what do you do, where do you work, what does your week look like. And it
Mhm.
was, I would say it was 10 minutes, and it was just with random people every day.
Yeah.
But that's what gave me the confidence to talk to people,
Absolutely.
because from there I met a very good recruiter. He mentioned to me that he works in the field of accounts and IT.
Mhm.
And he mentioned to me that, okay, what are you studying? And he started to know me as well, because he was a regular customer. So when he came, we ended up talking, and I was the one. I would try my best that, if he's at the store, I would serve him.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So I started talking to him. We got connected on LinkedIn. I tried to look him up, and then we got connected, and we discussed a few different, not a few, but a couple of different opportunities. um, but because of some or the other reason, it never worked out. Be it my visa status, or be it that I was still a student, which
Mhm.
which is fair enough,
Yeah.
because I was a student back then, and I
Yeah.
still had one semester to go. But we always kept in touch, which was really nice. It was good to know that people, if you talk to people, or if you try to get to know them, rather than just telling them, hi, I'm looking for a job, I need a job, I need a job.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, and also I have done that in the beginning. And you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's something that I stopped doing after that.
That's a very interesting story. People,
Hmm.
especially international students, tell me that they don't have time because the uni work, the
Yes.
classes, and then part-time jobs or casual jobs, and they don't have
Yeah.
time to network. But you kind of utilized your work as a networking platform, and
Yes.
it kind of helped you as well. That's a very interesting thing. So,
Hmm.
you had a good friend who dragged you into this.
Oh,
But
absolutely, yes.
but did you have any surprises when you started? At least in the first few months, as in,
Mhm.
this is not what I signed up for, or this is not what happens in Mumbai, for example. So, any such surprises that caught you off guard?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because I mean, in my head, I was always prepared that if I
Hmm.
come and study in a different country,
Mm.
I have to work part time
Yeah.
because I was aware of that concept because
Hmm.
some of my extended family is also in the US, so I was aware of that concept that you have to work, in order to make sure you can pay your bills on time and stuff like that. So I knew always, but I didn't know what I would do
Mm.
because it's easy to say, oh yeah, yeah, if I go, outside, I'll probably work in McDonald's and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And on top of that, when as I mentioned in Chadston, the only store that called us, it was the butcher store.
Mm.
So it was a different kind of a field for me. I'm like, I knew nothing about meats, I
Yeah.
knew nothing about serving people as a
Mm.
cashier. And I was in two minds, should I even take it, should I
Yeah.
even, what should I do? But then I just went with the flow. I said,
Right.
let's do the trial shifts, let's see how it is. And if needed, I'll either leave it or just stay there. and
Mm.
and surprisingly, I ended up working there for 3 years,
Awesome.
almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said, I wouldn't have had it any different way.
So I think the important thing here, it is not as easy as it looks.
No.
Anyone who is thinking of migrating, if you're skilled professionals or international
Mm,
students,
yeah.
um, it's not fun. I mean, the beginning is a struggle.
Yes,
But
it is.
once you settle down, it's an absolute gold. I mean, I kind of want to
Correct.
reiterate that because I'm sharing only bad stories and struggles. But let me make it
No,
clear.
but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that is the truth,
Yes.
Vinesh, because as you said, that it's not all rainbows and butterflies.
Yes.
It's true because by my last semester, I was going to uni for 2 days.
Mm,
I was doing my internship for 2 days,
mm.
and the rest of the weekend I was working. The one day that I got, I used to try to relax and study at the same time.
Yeah.
And at a point, it got to a time that I used to go to I used to go home just to sleep. That's it. It
Yeah.
got to that.
Absolutely. So yeah,
So yeah.
just keep that in mind. The change in culture can be a
Mm,
big struggle for you, but once you are settled down, everyone absolutely loves it. I mean, my point
yeah.
here is when you call your friends here in Australia, if they say, "Hey, you come over, we'll figure
Mm,
things out," make sure you do your homework and figure some things out. Otherwise,
absolutely.
you reach here and you'll be devastated.
Yeah.
That's my only
Mm,
intention over here.
yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
get to the job search side of things. How did
Mm,
you start? What was you already mentioned you got in touch with a recruiter through the
right.
part-time job, but it's completely different, mind you,
Mm,
compared to what how things work in India. So how
yeah.
did you
Yeah.
start job searching over here, and how was
Mm,
your initial experience here like?
yeah. I think my initial experience was the same as any migrant's experience would be because I did the same common mistakes that you have been highlighting so far in all your meetups or in all your videos so far about the migrant's journey. Because I graduated in November,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, I need a job, but I need to relax. So I
Mm.
started looking very casually, and then when I got into the thick of it, I started applying to any job that I saw was relating to my profile, on Seek, on LinkedIn, on every different profile, and I think that was one of the mistakes that I did. Um, and then my university had this seminar or a session as such where they helped everyone build their resume, and then they helped everyone build contacts from the industry. And unfortunately, in the contacts part, the problem was, even if you do build contacts, it was more of those companies only preferred permanent residents
Yeah.
or they preferred citizens.
Yeah.
So I went to those sessions for a couple of times, but then it was really disheartening because I felt I was wasting my time. um, and then someone on that session itself, they were pointing out and they were giving out different tips on, what should you do in order to look for a job, and
Mm-hmm.
how can you stand out, because there are thousands and thousands of applicants.
Mm.
How do you stand out? And that's when one of those people, the person who was hosting the session, they mentioned, do not apply to every single job that you see,
Mm.
because you cannot just keep spamming your resume everywhere.
Mm.
And I always stuck to that after that, because every job description that you read, you'll see they probably have a detailed job description as to what sort of a candidate that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, this is not that I want to do.
Mm.
This is something I want to do. I shortlisted, um, and then I started applying. And another tip that one of my friend gave me was, who already was successful in getting a job through the same process of not meeting a recruiter, but by herself, applying via Seek or via LinkedIn. And she pointed it out to me that try your best, keep the alarms on, keep the alerts on for all the jobs that come through for your profile, and try to make sure that you apply within the 24 hours that they post the ad,
Mm.
and you'll see the difference of the success rate,
Yeah.
of at least the people calling you, not
Mm.
success rate of getting to the offer letter table, but at least to the people getting in touch with you.
Mm.
And I cannot emphasize more, Vinesh. I think I started looking for job. I was looking for job for three months,
Mm-hmm.
and the third month I came to know that I have to, I should start applying within the 24 hours.
Mm.
In the first 2 months, I got zero calls,
Mm.
but the moment I started applying within the first 24 hours, I think, if I roughly remember, I ended up getting 6 to 7 calls
Mm.
to discuss the application further, or to understand my background and to understand what I've been studying and what I need to do. So this one thing that I would really like to highlight, it's not just about the job or not just about giving your resume. Make sure when do you apply for that job. Also ensure that you contact the recruiter if their name is given,
Yeah, that's very
because
important. Yeah.
because thousands of applicants, they apply. How do you stand out? Because
Mm.
when I started applying for jobs, then I asked the same question to myself: how do I make myself stand out? How do I let them know in a pile of papers there is a paper called Sonal Bhatia and she deserves it?
Mm.
Because I started asking that question to them, sorry, to myself. And that's when I got the answer that you need to do something differently.
Mm.
So I personally started giving them a call. I started asking them if it is the right time to speak with them. And to my belief, everyone entertained the call
Yeah.
because they wanted to understand, and they wanted the position to be filled as well.
Mm.
um, so that happened. And when I got my job offer for Bosch.
Mm.
That was a funny story because I completely forgot I had applied for this role.
Okay.
Because as I told you, I was applying for so many different roles, and I completely forgot that I applied. So the HR representative called me and she said, "Oh, hi, I'm calling from Bosch, and you had applied for a position. Are you still looking for a job?" Because I had applied for that position almost 2 months ago,
Mm.
and I completely forgot about it. And I said, yeah, sure. And I said sure, but I wasn't sure. Because by that time I was already in terms, I had my first round of interview with a different company.
Mm.
And I felt positive about it, but I
Okay.
wasn't sure. I was positive, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I thought maybe, let's start talking to this company as well and see where things go. And yeah, so I started talking to her. I first tried to dig out the emails that,
Mm.
okay, I had applied for a job. What is the position description? Am I really even interested in it? And yeah, things just fell into place after that. And I ended up selecting the offer from Bosch rather than the previous company. So
Awesome. So
yeah.
you got two offers at the same time.
I did, yeah, yeah,
I hear this a lot. I mean, people struggle a lot for the first few months, and then all of a sudden they have multiple offers. So
yeah,
I don't know what's up with that, but that's the way it works. By the way, we
yeah.
have 10 people watching us live on LinkedIn. I think they are really engrossed in their story. They're not talking anything. So if you're still watching us, or if you're not asleep, please say hi, hello, good morning, just to make some noise out there.
Mhm.
So that was a brilliant story, Sonal, starting from how you
Yeah.
converted your part-time opportunity to a networking platform, and then how
Mhm.
you that first 24-hour strategy was a really good one as well. It kind of just shows, and absolutely picking up the phone, another absolutely necessary thing that you have to do, but
Yeah.
uh, almost no one does that. So if you do that,
Yes. Yes.
you absolutely get an advantage over there as well.
Yep.
Now, I think you've probably touched on all the topics that I wanted to talk. So you've already shared some tips as well. But any advice? Now you've been in Australia for 5 years.
Yeah.
Any advice you'd like to give to new migrants or international students out here?
Mm. Uh, the first thing I would like to say is listen to everybody's story. See what they have to say, because every migrant's journey is different.
Mm,
But do not be taken aback if they say that they did not receive a job for 4 months or 5 months or 10 months, because every individual's profile is different, every individual's personality is different, and every individual's um, the story is different. So
mm,
make sure you don't lose the confidence in you, because I remember when I was told that Sonal, you don't get a job easily over here. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this certification. And I thought to myself, because I've done a master's, I've invested a good amount of money in my studies already. um, Honestly, I knew it was more just a couple of $100 to complete a certification. But at that point of time I couldn't afford it, and I did not want to do it because I had just done my master's and I had studied the same things. The only difference was I had a university degree and not a piece of paper certifying me for that particular certificate.
mhm,
So i I knew everyone told me you won't get a job, because most of my friends didn't, unfortunately. Most of my friends didn't, and it's a part of their learning as
yeah.
well. And I always kept that positive note in my hand. Okay, they are different than I am, and I am different than they are. So everyone has a different journey, we had different fields, and I kept that positive note that it will happen for me. If not today, tomorrow. And I kept repeating the same thing to myself every day. If not this week, next week.
Mhm,
If not this week, next week. And it happened. It took 3 months for me, but it definitely did happen. So yes, just keep applying to the jobs that you are interested in, and make sure to not lose that hope that you will never find a job.
mm,
You are capable of it, you will find it, you're just waiting for the right opportunity.
mm.
So that's all I would like to tell them.
Yeah, golden advice. So I think it's important to have that attitude. Otherwise, giving up is not an option here.
Absolutely.
There's no fallback option. You have to keep
Yes.
pushing, and
Yeah.
there is a way out there. I mean, yes,
Yes,
there are a lot
absolutely.
of negative stories, but there are a lot of positive stories too. I mean, just watch
Exactly. Mm,
this series. You'll get 12 good stories as well. You know, even though people
absolutely.
struggle,
Yes.
there are good stories out there. So.
Yeah.
Really good story, Sonal. I'm sure there is a lot of good advice in there.
Mhm.
Thanks for your time today morning. And as always, if you're watching this episode, please leave a comment or subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's what will make me happy. So if you want to make me happy, please do that. I keep saying that, I know. But otherwise, thanks for watching us. If people want to reach out to you, Sonal, would LinkedIn be
Mhm.
the best way?
Yeah, yeah. LinkedIn would be the best way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
By the way,
absolutely.
I got a comment from uh, a person who I interviewed last week. Her name is
Is
Varsha.
it?
I'm taking her name as well.
Yeah.
So the point there is, she had specifically mentioned if you are sending a connection request to her, please add a note that, hey, you watched this
Oh, yes,
episode,
absolutely.
you loved it, and she'll accept the connection. But
Correct. Correct.
unfortunately, I think she got 20 or 25 connection requests only, and
Oh, wow.
only two of them had a message in it.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
yeah. Yeah, you were saying
Vinesh, I'd also like to highlight that because we when I said that I was trying to look at different people and trying to connect, if you end up contacting recruiters on LinkedIn, um, please ensure that you are having a casual conversation
yeah,
with them rather than saying, "Hi, my name is Sonal and I'm looking for a job. What have you got?"
yeah,
you know Please don't do that because they are
absolutely.
humans as well, and they would like to have that conversation with you to understand you as a person, to understand your personality, and then maybe once you get into the thick of it, or within a few conversations or even 10 minutes, you start telling them that this is what I do, I'm looking for something, please keep me in mind if you have
Yeah,
something. So yeah, that is one thing that I would also like to highlight. Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, hopefully,
Mhm.
for my viewers, they'll start sending, at least attaching a note when they send a connection request. Otherwise,
Hopefully.
it's, you have to listen to what people say. If when someone says,
Absolutely.
if you're sending a connection request to me, please add a note. Only then I'll accept, and then have less
Yeah.
than 1% of people sending it out to them. It's surprising. I mean, life
Yeah.
is not easy. You have to at least do what has been told, right?
Correct.
At least
Correct.
do that bit. So that'll be really useful. So thank you so much for joining us this
Thank you, Vinesh.
Tuesday.
Thanks for having
And
me.
yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. Thanks, Sonal.
Thanks, Vinesh. Thanks, everyone. Bye.